All right. Okay. Well, thank you all for attending this session for Procurement 101. Like Dr. Butler said, we're going to be going over some of the OCPO websites and resources, our homepage, and the bonfire vendor portal that we've been speaking so much about throughout the rest of the sessions. Um, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Sheena Akins. I'm the Deputy Chief Procurement Officer in the Office of the Chief Procurement Officer. And I am over the operations unit. So we handle all the systems, all the reporting, all the data on a day-to-day basis for procurement. So I will dive right in. Where is my mouse? There we go. Sorry about that. Okay. So the topics we're going to discover today, like I said, are the various OCPO websites that we know vendors would need to utilize, as well as a breakdown of the resources available on each. I don't know how many vendors have actually had a chance to take a look at our homepage at all or are registered on the vendor portal, but we will go through some useful information and resources on each of those pages that can help not only in understanding Cook County contracts, what we normally typically purchase, but also submittal requirements, documents, and things like that. So we're going to cover our homepage, which has the awarded contracts and amendments page that I was mentioning in some of the other presentations. We're going to go over the bid tabulation page, and I'll explain what that is throughout the presentation also. How to locate our current contract opportunities on the OCPO homepage, although all it does is redirect to Bonfire. But if just in case you guys miss the link, I can show you where to find that. We will discuss the buying plan that we normally post every year, as well as different resources on our Doing Business with Cook County page. Then after that, we'll get into the bonfire vendor portal, how to locate the specifics of a project, and then submitting a response. And then I'll do a live demo of those sites after we've gone through the presentation. Okay. So on the OCPO homepage, our main page for the homepage, as soon as you click on our department, you're going to see OCPO's mission and values. You're going to see information on the Cook County Procurement Code, and then there's a link where you can open the actual procurement code document in case anyone wants to reference that. There's a link to register with OCPO in Bonfire, and it kind of explains what Bonfire is. And then the quick link section is what we're going to be focusing on for the sake of this session. It goes over the buying plan, a list of our sister agencies and links to their procurement sites, where to find our current contract opportunities, and again, the doing business with Cook County, procurement data and information, and then the general procurement process. There's a ton of information on all of these pages, and we will dive down to each. But the home page is where you can find the links to all of our separate pages. Just wanted to make sure that that's clear. So within the home page, on the right-hand side of our page, and I'll go through that, there is a section called Quick Links. And this is where you will find procurement data and information. When you click on that link on the side of our homepage, this is where you will get details on the buying plan, opportunities for solicitations, bid tabulations, our intent to execute, and the intent to award site. And I will go through what those are throughout the presentation. And also, this is where you will find the link to our awarded contracts and amendments, the open data page for those as well. So when you click on that procurement data and information link on our main page, you have the list of options that you can also select on that page. So via the procurement data and information link, you can click on awarded contracts and amendments. And we've been talking about that page, that open data page for the last several sessions. So this is where we post all of our awarded contracts and amendments via open data. So it's a public portal where you guys could go in and search for our contracts and amendments that have been awarded, even if they're expired. I think it goes all the way back to 2016, if I believe. This is a very useful tool when you guys are trying to learn about county contracts and contract documents. So like I said, if you guys are ever interested in coming up with scope or coming up with a response, coming up with pricing, learning about our solicitation requirements and the documents that need to be submitted with each, this is a good place to start because you can see the actual awarded contract with all the subsequent documents in that PDF document as a tool for you guys to learn how to fill them out. In the last session, we went through what each document was and what we use it for. So this is a way where you guys can actually see those documents in real time, the way they should be completed with all the corrections already made and vetted before we post to the public. Each contract and amendment includes the contract terms, pricing, the description of services or the scope of work, and any supporting documentation required from the vendor who is awarded that contract. And again, our contracts vary by scope or specification. So make sure you take a look at the RFB template, the contract for a bid or an IFB, all of our sole source, piggybacks, all of our contracts, the description, the contract type will be listed on that page. So make sure you guys reference those so you can see the exact layout for each, because some of them are different and have different documents required with them. Once you're on this open data page, the data can be filtered several different ways. So you can filter by the procurement type. If you want to look up IFBs, just to get an example, if you want to look up RFPs or sole sources, you can do that. You can research by department. So if you know that most of the work that you do will pertain to the Department of Transportation and Highways, for example, because you know you do a lot of construction, you can search that way and filter so that it's a more narrow search. You can search by vendor, or any other type of data that's on that page you can filter by. And that data can be exported to an Excel document so that you can save it for later use if you need to. Also on that page, there is a hyperlink for the PDF of each contract or amendment that is provided. So you'll see the contract number, the description, the commodity code, the buyer's name, the using department, and all the way to the right of that page, there's a blue link for the contract document. It'll say whether it's a new contract or the original contract, or if it's amendment 1, 2, 3, it'll list everything on the right-hand side of the page next to the contract number. And once you click on those documents, the entire contract or amendment with all the supporting documents will populate on the screen. So another useful tool on the procurement data and information link is the bid tabulations. So we make our bid tabulations available for the public for current and prior bids in open data. So not just bids that have recently closed, but I believe this site also goes back to 2016. So you can see all the tabulations for all of the bids that have been submitted since then. And what a bid tabulation is a summary of the results from the bids received by vendors for a particular response, for a particular bid, in response to a particular bid. So you'll be able to see, for bids especially, you'll be able to see the vendor's name and their total bid price for everyone who submitted on a particular project. For RFPs and RFQs, we can't provide the pricing, but we can give you guys a list of vendors who submitted on that project. And I believe they also note their MBE status if there is one. But at a minimum, you'll be able to see all the vendors who responded to a project. With a bid, you'll also see the pricing, which is probably the most helpful. We provide this information to improve transparency, and to also assist vendors in formulating documents for future use. We do want to make sure that you guys have resources available for you to assist in submitting bids. So we offer this information as a way for you guys to have a starting point. Since this is also an open data site, the data can be filtered the same way as the contract and amendment page, by department, by project number, by procurement type or commodity code, however you want to narrow down your search depending on what you are interested in. It can be filtered the same way. The data can be exported to Excel for future reference if you need to. And like I said, this is a great place to start when you guys are looking into bidding on our opportunities and you are interested in knowing how other vendors formulated their pricing. Some of the pricing sheets are itemized. Some of them may be a lump sum. It depends on the project, but this is a good place to start when you guys are trying to figure out what type of pricing or how to come up with your pricing for if you are interested in responding to a bid similar to the ones that are posted on our website. So another useful tool on that procurement data and information page, there are two separate links. One is the intent to award, and the second is the intent to execute. And there is a difference between the two. So the intent to award site is going to show you guys contracts with a value of $150,000 or more, contracts and amendments, because those are required to go to the board. When we say the word award, we mean that the board has approved us to make this award or to award this contract. So everything that the board has to review will be on the intent to award site. If the contract value is below $150,000, then our chief procurement officer or the CPO can execute that contract directly without having board approval. So these contracts will be on the intent to execute site because we don't need the approval. We go straight to execution. And so that's the difference between the two. It really is driven by the dollar amount. So all contracts and amendments that are below 150 will be on the intent to execute site. So that's the difference between those two, but they have the same information. It just depends on the dollar amount. And again, they're both open data sites, so you can filter by department, by project if you need to, the same way you can with the other sites that I just mentioned. Um, this information is posted to the public in order to inform of the intent of Cook County to enter into a contract, whether it's via execution or board approval and award. And the list of contracts is posted for public viewing 3 to 5 days before the board meeting or before the CPO is scheduled to execute. So this is the period where you guys can take a look at the contract, send any feedback if you want to. If you have any protest information or you are thinking that maybe your bid was better, this is your opportunity to let us know that. And again, that does have to be reviewed by the CPO and approved if you guys do send anything like that. But the point of this is so you guys are aware of contracts we're planning on entering into. So now another thing on the OCPO main homepage is a link titled Doing Business with Cook County. And I'm going to go through that link at the end of this presentation, but there's useful information on why you should partner with Cook County, the benefits of that, the resources that are available to help you do that, how to partner with Cook County as far as where to register, where to look for opportunities, where to do your research. That information is available with useful tips in that link. The bid preferences and credits that we talked about in the last couple of sessions are also listed on this page with more detailed descriptions, so you guys can review those. And then there's information for the MWBE information and links to the various compliance websites that you would need to reference in order to register with Cook County's compliance department are also available on that page. So the next big thing that I think would be really, really useful for you all is the page that lists our annual buying plans. So every year, most public agencies post a buying plan to let the public know of items or services that we anticipate purchasing for the next fiscal year. So we're currently creating the buying plan for fiscal year 25, but the buying plan for fiscal year 24 is posted on our website. By department, you can filter by department or by project type, but it lists all of the purchases that each department in Cook County that OCPO procures for anticipates purchasing throughout the fiscal year. Again, needs may arise, so that list may be more exhaustive towards the end of the year, depending on the extra needs of the user department. But at a minimum, you will see everything that each department plans on purchasing and the fiscal year quarter that they anticipate advertising that particular project, which is really, really important because that's going to tell you when to start looking for an item that you are interested in. So we make that information available on our homepage. That data goes back to fiscal year 2017. So if you guys are interested in that, and again, that buying plan, we have a PDF version available also with a narrative of what we do, how we do business, our different procurement types. There's also an interactive buying plan that's just an Excel document that you can filter the same way you can the other sites that I mentioned by department, by project number, and things like that. So that's another really useful tool and a good starting point when you guys are trying to figure out when things are going to be posted that meet your interest. Our county sister agencies are also listed on our homepage. So vendors that are interested in doing business with Cook County, you may also want to explore procurement opportunities for other local agencies in Cook County, right? And so on that homepage, we provide the links for other Cook County public agencies or government agencies that are sister agencies to us, like the Forest Preserve, their procurement link is on there, Cook County Health and Hospital Systems, the Land Bank, CCWP, or the Chicago Cook Workforce Partnership, and the Housing Authority of Cook County. All of their procurement links are on our homepage as well because we don't procure for them. But if you guys are interested in knowing about their opportunities, this is where you would find that information. And again, there are several sister agencies in Chicago that directly related to Cook County or affiliated with Cook County, like CHA, Metropolitan Water Reclamation, RTA, things like that. There's a separate spot on our homepage with those links, but these are county affiliated sister agencies. So we do provide the links for them as well. And again, we do not procure for those agencies. So this is why we're giving you guys the link to their procurement homepage so that you can get an information on their contract opportunities from their pages. Another useful tool on the homepage is the procurement process. So I know we've been talking a lot about in these last sessions about the various types of procurements that we do and what they entail. But this page also gives a brief summary of each of those in case you guys need a refresher. We provide information on the difference between a competitive and a non-competitive solicitation process, and then we give a list of each of those items with a description of each, so you guys can be aware of the difference between all of the different types of solicitations that we do. And then we also give details on the type of commodity codes that we use. And again, we use the UNSPSC commodity codes for our website, for our solicitation purposes, which is available on this website. We also give a snapshot of the fiscal year 23 activities at a glance. So every year we'll try to give information on a summary of all of the procurement activities for the prior fiscal year. So that information is available on the page listed as the procurement process. Okay, so also on the homepage, not only do you have the quick links with, the main procurement information, but we also have at the bottom of that page a link, a title called Related Links, where we give information on other departments that we work with that have useful resources for vendors. And one of those links is to the Office of Contract Compliance, or what we call OCC. And OCC is responsible for managing the county's MWBE programs, certifying programs, and monitoring utilization on Cook County contracts. So at the bottom of that page, we give a link to their website. You can find a list of frequently asked questions, just in case you want to get more information about what they do and how they do it. There's a link to the B2G Now site that you guys can register on, and a lot of useful information as far as how compliance works with procurement and what they do in monitoring contracts. The other useful tool that's in that bottom related link section is a link to the Bureau of Economic Development. Now, I don't know if a lot of vendors know this, but BED is the acronym that we use for this bureau. They have established the Small Business Resource as a network and has a network of partners that are designated by the state of Illinois to assist businesses pursuing procurement opportunities, right? So they have a lot of resources. I believe they offer a lot of grants if you qualify for them. So our Bureau of Economic Development is a great place to start to get your foot in the door when it comes to all things procurement. And I believe they assist with our sister agencies as well, not just OCPO. So take a look at that link when you get a chance. I'll show you guys where to find it when we do the live demo. But both of these links are useful resources in contracting opportunities, not only for Cook County, but for our sister agencies as well. Okay. The public surplus auction, I'm not sure if many people are aware of this either, but Cook County sells antiquated and underutilized surplus assets. And this sale happens online via an auction that is open to the public. So I looked at the website yesterday and they have a lot of desks. There's jewelry that hasn't been claimed, cars that haven't been claimed, a lot of furniture that hasn't been claimed that's been confiscated by the county. So if you guys are interested in seeing what that looks like, I can show you that website, but you're able to register on that website and view past and current auctions. So you can see the auctions that are coming up and the dates and the limits of where the auction will start. You can also see previously awarded auctions just to get an idea of how the surplus works. When you actually go to the public surplus website, because it's a separate website from OCPO, it'll break down any payment information. So how you pay for these things or how you're paid for these auctions, sales tax and exempt requests. So what applies with sales tax and what doesn't, how to do wire transfers, how to pick up the items after you've purchased them, and then a whole list of items that are currently available for auction. All that information is available on the public surplus page. And I believe they have an auction a couple of times a month, I want to say, but the dates are available on that page when you're searching for each of the items. Okay, so now let's get into the bonfire vendor portal. And I know we've touched on this quite a bit, but I'll dive a little more into it once we get into the live demo. So Bonfire is Cook County's e-procurement system where we post and receive responses to solicitations. So just in case you guys are not aware, we have done away with the paperless process. We no longer accept paper bids. Every response has to be submitted in Bonfire. And we also post everything in Bonfire. So this is where you'll see our actual contract opportunities. We went through this site in one or two of the other sessions, but I'll go through it again today. So what is useful for you all to do is to go to Bonfire and create a user profile and password. In order to actually see the specifics of our solicitations, you have to have a profile. I know Bonfire is a public website, so anyone can log in and just view items, but in order to see specific documents, in order to see the bid tables, to download the RFPs or the bids, you actually have to have a profile set up. And it's really, really easy to do. I will share the link in the chat after this meeting, but once you get there, there's a section at the top right that says log in and register, and that is how you would create your profile on our Bonfire page. So once you start creating your profile, I do want to keep pointing out, and I hate to keep repeating this, but make sure you select any and all commodity codes that apply to your area of work. Because when we post solicitations, we post by commodity code, right? So you won't automatically be notified just because you're registered. If the system does not pick up on a commodity code on your profile, it won't send you a notice. So make sure you guys are registering for anything that applies. So if you are a construction vendor, you might want to select plumbing, electrical, lumber, anything that can actually trigger the system to send you that notice will be useful. And again, we use the UNSPSC commodity codes, and I can provide that link in the chat as well. And I'll actually go through that link again at the end of this meeting. But once your registration is complete, you will automatically be sent notifications via the email you signed up with when we post solicitations that match the commodity code that you're registered with. So that's why that's very, very important. And on that site, you'll see an umbrella code, for example, like I believe 80000 is a commodity code for like consulting or admin or something like that. Make sure you use some of those subcodes to the specific codes to correspond with that, because you'll expand your ability to receive notifications with the more codes that you're registered with in Bonfire. Okay. So on the vendor portal, which is the main hub for Bonfire for vendors, you'll be able to see current contract opportunities, so what's actually open to the public now, past opportunities, so contracts that have come off the page, the due date has passed, but you can at least still see a summary of each of those. And then any opportunity that your company has submitted a response to for your reference. All of that is available on the main vendor portal page in Bonfire. So when you click on the current opportunities page, you'll see a list of all of our current open contract opportunities or solicitations, along with the solicitation number, a brief description, the using department, and the due date is just a summary of the information pertaining to that solicitation. In order to actually view the details of that opportunity, you have to actually click within that opportunity to open it up via the view opportunity link on the side of each of the, on each line of the project. And I'll show you guys what that looks like. Okay, so once you guys are actually in the opportunity, you've opened the actual project more than just a summary. You'll see a summary at the top of the page with details, including the key due dates, supporting documents, and all the required information that needs to be submitted with your bid. And you also have the ability to send questions directly to the buyer in the portal. We used to accept them via email, but it's a lot easier to send them in the portal because for each project, the buyer will get a specific list of all the questions for each vendor. So questions won't get missed or lost in translations. They're all available in real time to the buyer as soon as you send them. Also on that summary page is the document takers list. So this is a list of all the vendors who have shown interest in a given project. It shows the vendor's name and the number or the number of files that the company has opened or viewed. It also shows the certification type and the certifying agency if a vendor has noted that they are an MWBE vendor. So if you are a prime looking to meet the compliance goals and you're not able to find a vendor, this is one way where you can see any other MWBE vendors that can meet the need for this particular project. Because vendors are able to log in and then enter their information on each project that they're interested in being a sub for. And then the subcontracting section is where the MWVE vendors can do that, enter their information, the certifying agency, and it'll populate on the project whenever people look at the document takers list. And I'll show you guys what that looks like. Okay. So like I said, in order to actually view the details and specification requirements for the bid table and any submittal documents that are needed for a given project, you have to click on prepare your submission at the bottom of the opportunities page. Simply viewing the opportunity only gives you a snapshot. It doesn't give you the details. So in order to prepare your submission, one, you do have to be registered to see this. And then two, you have to hit prepare your submission at the bottom of the page. And I'll go through what that looks like again, but once you open up the prepare the submission link, you'll see the bid table and how to populate that. You'll have the ability to upload all the submittal requirements. You'll be able to download all the documents that are required to be submitted with your bid. You won't be able to see those things if all you do is open the opportunity. I just want to make sure that that's clear because we get that question a lot. And I will go through what that looks like in 1 second, but I just want to make sure everyone understands. Simply viewing the opportunity doesn't give you the ability to see the specifics of what you have to submit. It's just a snapshot of what we're asking for. Okay, so now let's get into a demo of our websites. Let me just open my link here. Here we go. All right, can you guys see the OCPO homepage?
No,
No?
no, it just says live demo. I don't think, maybe it's on another screen.
Let me stop and start sharing again. 1 second. Start sharing. Okay, what do you,
Yes,
can you see?
we see the homepage.
Okay, good, thanks. All right, so here's the main OCPO homepage, and let me just show you guys how to get there if you are not familiar with navigating. This is the main homepage for Cook County. If you just type cookcountyil.gov, you'll be directed to this page. To get to the OCPO homepage, if you don't have the direct link, you can click on agencies and then scroll down to Office of the Chief Procurement Officer right here. Once you select that, you'll be on our main page. So like I mentioned earlier, this is where we have the mission statement, our values, the procurement code. So if you wanted to actually see the code itself, you can click this link here. Registering with the OCPO, so we give a brief description of Bonfire. And if you wanted to register with that, you click here. Here are the quick links that I was telling you about with useful information, so I'll dive into these first. Here are the related links with the resources for you all for compliance and BED located down here at the bottom. I will start with procurement data and information because that has the most information in that link, but here's that link here at the bottom, or in the middle, I'm sorry. So once you click on this link, there's another link to the procurement code. There are links to our annual reports and our buying plans, the link to current contract opportunities, the link to our bid tabulations page, and then the intent to award and execute page, as well as the awarded contracts and amendments. Those same links are also available on the right over here, just in case. So I will start at the top with the buying plan. So if you click on the link for the buying plan, you will be redirected here. So here is the link for 2018. You can filter and search for any link that you want or any year that you want. Let me actually go back and try to do it this way. Yeah. So here's the link to the interactive buying plan for FY24. If it'll open, there we go. And again, this is an open data site, so you can filter by category. So the type of purchase that it is, the using department, a project description, the procurement agency, the anticipated quarter. So all of that information is available here. And here is where you would export to Excel if you need to. But this is everything that we anticipate purchasing along with the quarter we anticipate advertising the solicitation for fiscal year 24. So that is the buying plan. We didn't have a PDF version last year, but here is what the buying plan looked like for FY 23. So there was a lot more data on what we do and how we do it. There's a letter from the president, a letter from the CPO, and then it dives down to an overview of what we do, the departments we purchase for, and then information on our various types of procurement methods. But everything available on our homepage, and a little more information will be available in the buying plan. Here is a PDF of the schedule of anticipated purchases that we just saw. So this document is pretty lengthy and it's a really good resource. We will be posting the FY 25 buying plan the first week of the fiscal year, which is December 1st, just so you guys can be on the lookout for that. But a lot of useful information in here. We also provide, in our buying plan, the buying plans for Cook County Health and Hospital Systems and the Forest Preserve. So be on the lookout for that as well. Here's information about our homepage again. Everything that we're about to cover is in this buying plan with directions on how to navigate. So I won't go into this in too much detail because we've covered all of it, but I just wanted you guys to see what the buying plan looks like. So now we're back on the procurement data and information page. So the next thing I'll get into is bid tabulation. So remember, this is the list of all the vendors that have submitted a response to any of our opportunities, right? So you can see, you can filter by procurement type, whether you want to do bids, RFPs, or anything like that. Or if you already know the contract number, you can search by the contract number or the project name. The using department, this is where you filter over here. You can change the filter that you're looking for. So if you want to search by the bid date or the type or the project name, you can do that here. It doesn't have to be the contract number. You can change that. And then each of those bid amounts are over here. Now, if it's blank, it's probably because it was an RFP. We don't post pricing to RFPs or RFQs, but this will be all the pricing for bids in this section here. So if you guys had any questions about the layout of our bids or how vendors are submitting pricing, this is where you would start. Next, I will get into the intent to execute site. Same thing. This is a list of the contracts that we're going to execute along with the vendor name and the department, their MWBE goals. So basic information about the vendor itself and their goals and participation is available here for each of the contracts that we intend for our CPO to sign directly. And again, this can be exported. You can filter here as well for your using department or project type if you want to. But we're required to post these 3 to 5 days before the CPO is scheduled to actually sign a contract between a vendor and Cook County. Same thing with the intent to award. And again, these are the ones that have to be approved by the board. As you can see, all the dollar amounts are above 150, but this information is here as well. So you guys can see that. Okay, so next I will get into the awarded contracts and amendments. Again, this is another useful resource to help you guys learn about our contract documents and submittal requirements as far as documentation is concerned. You can filter the same way by contract number, by using departmental description. And then, like I said in the one of the previous slides, the hyperlink to either the amendment or the contract is available over here to the right under the category field. And when you click on that document, on that link, it opens the actual amendment or contract document. Oops, this is taking a while. Directly in the browser. There it is. So you guys can see how our contracts are laid out, everything that's required. This is available for public use, so don't feel bad in looking at another vendor's contract. We're required by code to post these, so feel free to take a look and get to know our contract documents and how other vendors are being awarded to assist you in being awarded a contract with Cook County. And then lastly, if you click on this link, it'll take you to the current solicitation. Oh, that is not the right link. I'm sorry. It was supposed to take you to Bonfire. We were supposed to have that corrected. I apologize. But there is another way to get to our current solicitation page. So we're back on the main homepage now. I just wanted to show you guys some of the other resources, but here is that link for Bonfire that I was trying to get to. I apologize. Um, and this is the Bonfire vendor portal. I won't go into it in detail now because we're still working on our homepage, but this is what it looks like. I will dive into that when we get to that section, but let me just finish with the OCPO homepage before we do that. So the next thing that I'll dive into is the doing business with Cook County link. So as I mentioned, there's information on why you should partner with Cook County, the benefits of doing so, a list of all of our bid preferences again, a couple of useful tips in registering with Cook County and how you can better partner with us, and then information on the compliance piece, as well as links to our ethics department, because they need to review our EDS documents. So that's why we provide that here. But this is the doing business with Cook County link. There are also sample documents over here if you guys wanted to download, like the sample PSA, for example, instructions to bidders, and for example, all of that's available here as well. Next, let me dive into the link for the procurement process. So as I mentioned, we dive into what a competitive process is, what a non-competitive process is. We give a link for each of, a description for each of those types of projects so that you guys have an understanding. Here's information on the type of commodity codes that we use. And then this is what we've purchased in each of the contract categories for FY23. So as you can see, the business is out there. We did 264 professional services agreements totaling over $1 billion. So just want to make sure you guys are aware that the opportunities are there. And this is just for FY23. And so just to make sure that you guys are on the lookout for these projects and these opportunities via Bonfire or via our homepage so that you guys are aware when we are posting items that meet your area of interest. Here is the link for the public surplus auction I was just referring to. So there's contact information here if you guys have any question. But to get to the actual website, you will click this blue hyperlink, and this is the public surplus auction website. A lot of useful information here as far as how to actually bid on items, what the process is. There's different categories over here. So if you want to purchase items for children, or if you just want furniture or heavy equipment, you can filter over here for those items. And like I mentioned, information on sales tax requirements, partial payments, wire transfers. And then at the very bottom of the screen, you can scroll through a list of the current auctions that are open. So it gives a description of the item, how many days left to bid, and then a picture of what that item is. And there's more than just furniture here. So I don't want you guys to be discouraged. They also auction off vehicles, jewelry, any and everything you can think of that the Cook County has access to, but is trying to get rid of, would be here. Excuse me. Okay. So now let me get into the related links down here at the bottom. I believe I covered everything. Oh, sister agencies. My apologies. Okay, so as I mentioned before, we do provide the procurement links for all of our sister agencies. So that's available here in this website or this part of our website. And like I said, for the Forest Preserve, Health and Hospitals, Land Bank, CCWP, and the Housing Authority of Cook County. If you guys are interested in knowing what opportunities they have available, this is where you can find the links on our homepage. Okay. So now let's get into these related links really quickly. So again, here is the link for contract compliance. This is their homepage. So any questions that you guys have, any things you're interested in, is all available here and is compliance related. So you can apply to be certified here. There's a list of all the events they have available, tips and resources for you all. So they have a lot of useful information available on their homepage as well. So we just want to make sure that you guys had access to this or knew that it existed. There is a link available on our homepage since they are our sister department, along with a whole bunch of useful tips and useful resources on the quick links on their page as well. And then the Bureau of Economic Development. Here is their homepage. And again, this is a site that is useful for you all in getting contract opportunities, procurement related with Cook County, as well as our sister agencies. So there's a lot of information here about what they do and how they do it, resources that you guys have, initiatives and grants that you guys can apply for. All of that information is available in the BED website. So please, 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 at your leisure, take a look at that as well. Links to the various things that they offer are available at the top here. As you can see, like resources for vendors, events they have coming up, financing, because like I said, I believe they do offer grants for small businesses. So take a look at this. Not sure if you guys were aware that this was an option for you all, but we have housed this on our homepage as well. Okay. So that is the OCPO homepage. Now let me show you guys the Bonfire vendor portal. So this is what that looks like. And as I mentioned, you'll have open opportunities that we currently have available with the list over here. Past opportunities. This list is going to be lengthy. So everything that we had posted that is either closed or canceled will be available on this page. And this is pretty lengthy because we've been using Bonfire, I believe, since 2020. So it's been a few years now. And then my opportunities. So these will be opportunities that you either looked at or submitted a response to for your company on this page. So let me just go to the current opportunity. So as you can see, there's a the contract number or the reference number, a brief description of the project, the using department, and then the actual due date. This date over here just says how much time you have left to submit your bid or your RFP response over here. So if you click on the link to the right, the view opportunities link to the right, this is where you'll get a summary of the project itself, not the specifics, right? So it'll give you the due dates again, when questions are due, when the solicitation is scheduled to close, the commodity codes that were used for this particular project, all the supporting documents that the buyer has posted as a reference for vendors, you can download those here. And this is where the actual solicitation document and exhibits pertaining to solicitation document will be housed. The pricing proposal form is housed here, but again, you won't be able to open it until you start your submission. And then all of these fields that have the green required button have to have something uploaded in order for your submission to be complete. This optional button you can do at your leisure, but if it has this green required, the system will not let you complete your bid until there is documentation in this slot. Just want to make sure that that's clear also. All of the technical proposal documents that the buyer is requiring, because this is an RFP or RFQ, I'm sorry. And then here's that document takers list I was referring to. So it shows a list of the vendors who viewed this opportunity, who showed interest, the number of files that they downloaded, and if they noted that they are an MBE vendor on this project, their MBE status in the certifying agency will be listed over here on the right. And if you wanted to view that vendor's profile for your own reference, you can just hit the view button. It'll open up that vendor's Bonfire profile that they have created. if you wanted to contact them for subcontracting opportunities or anything like that, this is where you would do that. And then at the very, well, this one got a lot of views, I'm sorry. At the very bottom of this page, the summary page, is where you'll notice vendors have submitted questions for this, or the buyer has posted the addendum or any notices to the public. So the public notices are what the buyer has posted to you all. The vendor discussion is where you guys can submit your questions to the buyer. So these are all the questions and comments that have been submitted for this particular project. If you guys were interested in submitting a question, you would just do that here. And it kind of populates the same way that an email does. So if you click on this button, you can create a subject line and type your question here, attach a file if you want to, and just hit send. And it'll populate in this thread over here the same way it does with an email. And it goes directly to the buyer on this project internally at Cook County. And again, at the bottom of this screen is where you would hit start your submission. I did a demo last week with this particular link, so it shows that I have a submission in progress, but it should normally say prepare your submission here at the bottom. Actually, let me go to one that might say that so that you guys can see what that actually looks like. 1 second. What haven't I clicked on here? Here we go. Prepare your submission down here at the bottom. And if you were interested in subcontracting and you wanted to provide your certifying agent and certification type, this is where you do that. And it would show up here just like this on this particular project. But again, in order to start your submission or to view the specifics, you have to hit prepare submission, and it'll take you directly to the submittal page. So now you see the option where you can upload your bid table, your bid package, you can confirm your bid table pricing. For this particular project, the buyer is requesting the pricing directly in the browser. So all you have to do is type your unit price here and then you're done. You don't have to download or re-upload. It populates in real time. Once you guys have actually created this bonfire bid table and hit submit, you can go back and download the completed table with the total pricing for each line and everything that you submitted in one page. And once you have finalized that, you would click I understand, and then that I can't change anything, which you can update your submission up until the due date and time. Just make sure you resubmit when you do that, and then hit the submit and finalize my submission button. So for this particular project, and this is something else I want to make sure you guys pay attention to. As I mentioned before, sometimes the buyers itemize every document they want you guys to submit for efficiency. For this particular project, they're just asking for the bid package and the pricing. So in the bid package, you should have your EDS, your COI, your ISF form, any supporting documentation that's required with your response, all scanned into one. This previous project that we just looked at, the buyer actually itemized everything separately. Let me show you what that looks like. All the way back to the bottom. Here we go. So you see how everything is separate, not only the pricing proposal form, but the EDS, the certificate of insurance, the addenda acknowledgement form. So all of these things they didn't want in one lump package. They want you guys to populate something separately, just to ensure that everything that is required to be submitted is actually submitted. So keep that in mind as well, that sometimes the buyer is not letting you submit everything in one lump document. So for those vendors who prefer to scan everything together and upload it, you might have difficulty doing that with the project when the project is itemized this way. So keep that in mind also, because you have to upload something to each of these required fields in order to submit your response. You see how it's grayed out? If anything is missing, you will not be able to submit your response to this project. So keep that in mind when you're looking through the various types of solicitations that we post on our website. Okay. And so that is it for the bonfire vendor portal also. Let me just show you guys. Oh, first of all, let me log out and show you guys what registering in bonfire looks like. One second. Okay. So if you guys are new to bonfire, this is what the page will look like. It'll still show you the list of all the opportunities, but again, in order to open the specifics, there's a login button and a register button at the top. If you click register, it's going to ask you for your organization name and some contact information. Once you hit create account, this is where you can actually populate your commodity codes, add more description of your company, and finish creating your profile in order so you can see the specifics of an opportunity. But again, you're able to view the summary, but not the specifics if you're not registered with Bonfire. So do you see how down here at the bottom where it previously said prepare your submission or start a question, it's not giving you the option to do that until you log in with your registered profile. So just want to make sure everyone understands that also. Any questions about the Bonfire vendor portal or any of our homepage information? Anything else you guys need me to cover related to these two before I get into the UNSPC website?
I think Kathy has a question. Kathy, you can come off of mute and ask your question.
Hello. This is Kathy. I'm new to the bidding process. I was just wondering if the requirements are already on there, like the bid package. Is it something you click on and fill out, or is it something you have to create your own?
No. Everything is available on the website. So any submittal documents that are required, the document itself will be available on that project. So for all of those, so let me actually, there is a difference. Let me show you. Hold on. Let me log back in. Give me 1 second. Because there is a difference. That is a good question. Okay. So when we talk about submittal requirements, there are two things that might need to happen, right? Some of the documents are already housed on the project and they're part of our template, like the EDS, right? Your certificate of insurance, that subcontractor form, your compliance documents, those are going to be housed on the project. And I'll go to this RFP so you guys can see what I mean. So those are going to be housed on the project. The addenda that you have to reference, the actual RFP, here are the ISF and EDS forms, the sample for test professional service agreement. So the documents that we are requiring you to fill out will be here for download. If you're doing an RFP or RFQ, for example, we are asking you to provide certain documentation with your proposal. We don't provide that information. That is the information that you provide to us. So, for example, your cover letter, your executive summary, your conflict of interest, qualifications, and things like that, that is what you provide on your own. But the county required documents, we will always provide for you. And those will be available up here. So you can download them, fill them out, and upload them with your response when you're getting ready to submit. Does that answer your question?
Yes, clearly.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
All right.
Thanks for asking, and that was a good question. So yeah, to her point, when it comes to proposals and qualifications, that we can't come up with for you, but the county required documents that you have to fill out for us, we provide those, and that they're housed on every single project. Any other questions, comments? Okay, let me touch on the UNSPC website, for example. And I'll provide the link to this in the chat as well. But the UNSPC codes are the codes that we use to post our solicitations. So I know that other agencies in Chicago and in Cook County actually use Bonfire. There are a few. They may not use the UNSPC code. So I just want to make sure that you guys, one, register with Cook County's Bonfire system, because again, our system doesn't communicate with any of the other agencies in Chicago that use Bonfire. They have their own link and their own system. So just because you're registered with Bonfire with, Chicago Public Schools, for example, doesn't mean you're going to get our opportunities. You will not see our opportunities on their page and vice versa. You will be notified of our opportunities on their page and vice versa. So make sure you register with Cook County's procurement Bonfire site, and I'll provide the link. But these are the codes that we use at Cook County. And UNSPSC stands for the United Nations Standard Products and Services Codes. A lot of public agencies use these, but not all. So I just want to make sure you guys are aware of that. If you guys are interested in searching for a code type, here at the top in the search engine, you can type the code name, and I'll just type in office supplies as an example and hit search. And once you do, oops, sorry, let me try another paper, something simple. Once you type in a code or a description of a code, it brings up everything with the word paper in it. So make sure you have all these commodity codes here, or you pay attention to all the commodity codes here. There are several pages of commodity codes, but here's where you can get the actual commodity code numbers. And remember, I was saying there may be an umbrella number. This one that ends in all zeros, this is the umbrella number for paper materials. If you're looking for a specific type of code or a specific type of paper, this is where you want to copy the specific code number. So make sure you guys are entering both when you do that, because it does make a difference. If the buyer has not posted the 1400 umbrella code, but they did post this code down here, you may not be notified. So just make sure you guys are paying attention to that as well. And in Bonfire, when you're selecting your codes, there's a space where you guys can do the same thing. You can type in the description of the code and it'll pull up all the codes with that description in it and just select all that applies. So you don't have to copy and paste from this website. I just want to make sure that's clear. This is so you guys know what the codes mean. But in Bonfire, you can just type in the code description the same way. It'll pull up the same list, and all you have to do is click on the number that you want, as many as you want to add to your profile. We have vendors that have up to a couple of hundred commodity codes associated with their profile. So I just want to make sure too that you guys are where you don't have to copy and paste from this site. This same information is linked in our Bonfire site when you register. Any questions about that? Okay. Anything else that you guys want me to touch on as far as our websites are concerned? Okay. Okay. Well, that was all that I had for today for our sessions. And again, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to let Dr. Butler know, or you can reach out, to me directly. Hopefully this was helpful in helping you guys learn how to navigate our page and the resources that are available on our homepage. A lot of people don't know that those things exist. So I think it's a great, this session was a great tool to assist you guys in understanding what we make available to you and why. But again, if you guys had any questions, just feel free to let us know. I will put the link for Bonfire as well as the UNSPC codes in the chat at the end of this session. And then again, I'll send Dr. Butler the slide deck so you guys can have that as well.
Carmen, you can come off of mute and ask your question. Kathy, are there going to be more specific areas covered? Kathy, this was a whole 5-part series, so you can visit our YouTube channel. We'll get that dropped in the chat, and you can go back and look at all of the other ones. If you missed them, that's about as specific as it gets. Okay, so that's all we have, guys. Thank you so much, Sheena. I really appreciate your time and partnering with us to get this out. This has been such incredible information, and we've gotten so much really great feedback from all of our attendees on the information. As Sheena mentioned, you all, you can send an email to her, Sheena.Aikens, AIKENS, @cookcountyil.gov. She'll probably drop that in there. If you have any direct questions. Also, you all, if you do email us, please give us a little bit of time to respond back. I know that sometimes when you send questions, you're looking for an immediate response or immediate answer, but we do request that you give us 24 to 48 hours because we may not be here in the office, or we may be working on some other projects and can't get to your question right immediately away. So please give us that amount of time to get back with you. We promise that if you send us an email, we absolutely will respond back to your email. So other than that, please be looking for a follow-up email from myself with the slide deck presentation inside, as well as the chat notes. I will have those downloaded and attached to the email as well. And then you all, tomorrow we have our CPO, Rafi, and our Office of Contract Compliance Director, Nicole Mandeville, and myself. We are going to be hosting our quarterly fireside procurement chat, but for the rest of the year, it's going to be a monthly fireside procurement chat because we have a lot of people that we would like to bring in front of you all so that you can learn about their procurement processes and to include some of the smaller municipalities. However, tomorrow we're going to be having a conversation with Tina Lori Harris, who is the Executive Director of the Business of Diversity with Chicago Public Schools. And so if you've ever been interested in doing business with Chicago Public Schools, if you've ever been interested in wanting to know more about so Chicago Public Schools is not a certifying agency, but they do accept certifications from the county and from the city and from the state. So it definitely will be a good conversation, and Tina will be able to share some of their initiatives that they have going on over there, as well as how Rafi here at the county and Nicole, our offices, are able to collaborate and interact with her. So if you haven't registered for that, that's tomorrow at 11 a.m. It's from 11 to 12. If you have not registered for that webinar, I will include that link in the follow-up email, and you can register for that as well. I think we're just under 100 registrants for that. So Kathy, I'll send that in the follow-up email and you'll be able to register from there. All right. Thank you all so much for, again, attending. We appreciate everyone who was here on all of the 5 webinar trainings. Again, also I will include in that email the YouTube channel and the link for the replay. That will be included in there also, and you'll be able to go and look back at all of the parts to this training series, as well as any other trainings that we have housed on that platform. All right. Thank you all so much, and you all have a great rest of the day. Thank you, Sheena.